The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach do we go, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
S&P up 2 points, Dow's up 52, the Nasdaq's up 9.5. Crude oil's up 51 cents. So gold's off a couple bucks at 13.02, silver 17.36. And I think that's about it. We just have a little bit of movement. And what it's all about, it's hurry up and wait. We've got Netflix after the bell tonight. And then our murderer's row of new stocks reporting in the morning and throughout the week. So we're going to be hot and heavy through earnings and options expiration this week. But for the most part, as I said on Friday, I pretty much covered all my short positions, left a couple, left the cream of the crop that I thought was out there. And we got a little bit of action on it today, a little reversal pattern. So at least I held that one is a little bit correct. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the stocks going on and some of the movement for what we have. Right now, the president is speaking about taxes and health insurance. I don't know if that will make any difference in the next hour, but we shall see. Certainly the comments this morning by the president made a major reversal in many of the drug and pharmacy stocks. So we'll look at that. Anyway, give me a call today at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. What else is going on? Well, we've got to get to a little bit of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1964, China joins the rank of nations with an atomic bomb capability. After a successful nuclear test on this day in 1964, China is the fifth member of this exclusive club, joining the United States, Soviet Union, Great Britain, and France. And I don't know if you can say anything more about it other than that. Got to kind of, if you're going to be a player at the table, you got to have a nuke. And, yeah, one more joined the party in 1964. They have about 1,000 nuclear weapons. From last estimates I saw that actually could do something. They have a lot more, kind of like build them, take the nuclear stuff out of it and move it to a newer model. But kind of a closed society. So you don't know what's going on. And of course, about 13 countries actually have nukes. But what else can you say? At least North Korea is probably not going to threaten China. Don't think that they would do that more than once. What else is going on out here? Well, Tesla is kaput. Not really, but it had a little pressure today. Of course, Friday in the dead of night, they announced that they'd actually laid off almost, what was it? Yeah, about 500 of their engineers. I suspect why they don't say the majority of those came from its Solar City deal. That is, I think, probably a lead weight around the neck of Tesla going forward. But like this, almost all of this stuff, it wasn't a big enough move out here today to really signal anything. But every time Tesla seems like it can take a breath of air, gets above the surface, well, there's more than a few people, including themselves, willing to toss themselves an anchor. They can't get the production they need, so they're going to fire the people that would make production easier. That just kind of tells you something right there. Why that thing's off $5 and was off about $8 earlier in the day. Anyway, that's about it. We're going to be talking a lot more about the hurry up and wait portion tonight. So the first thing we want to look at is Netflix, NFLX, and see if we have anything in this one to take a look at before earnings after the bell tonight. It's slightly gone over its previous highs. You wanted about 9 million shares from the July 21st high at 191. As we got to that one, he had 19 million shares and didn't quite break it. The next day, he had 15 million shares and did. So you have a valid breakout in Netflix for the high. The question is going to be how they do the expenses and how much money they threw at going into foreign countries. A lot of times foreign countries means that you kind of have to bribe people. While we have volume at the top, this huge leg from 164 on August 21st up to this high has not been a parade of huge volume other than a couple of days. It's actually been kind of tough, actually. So we'll continue on with that. Want to look at a few other stocks before we get into the earnings for tomorrow morning. First one on that is Dollar Tree. This has gotten up to the 91.41 high of November 22nd. It did so on 13 million shares. Now this one, no juice, about 2 million shares, sometimes 1.1 million shares today. Again, energy pretty good coming up off the bottom, and actually he had a kind of a big day back on the 24th of August. But other than 1 or 2 days out here, energy's been kind of lax going back up to these highs. Wouldn't be the point where I'd short it, but certainly in the retail space, this is one of the few stocks that's going higher. JWM or N, I think it's JWN, is Nordstrom's. When news came out and this thing spiked back here on, what is that, the 13th of September, that they were seeking to sell themselves to somebody, I was wondering who would be the dolt that would buy them. There's probably nothing worse than a retail company that has most of its positions in malls. I'm trying to think of if you could say that there was a free dose of cancer at every time you went into their stores, if you would, as a investor, want to invest in anything less. I don't see the trends changing or the impotence. I'd love to hear the story about why you want to start investing in big anchor stores in malls these days. But I don't think anybody's got an answer to that. That's why I thought it was a stupid idea then. We've had a couple more gaps down since then. And the reality is that retail malls, and I would hate to be in that business. Got to be on the wrong side of the end of the war, and you got no chance. Down on huge volume. Back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Allergen lost a lawsuit on their patents for their dry eye medication. This on the back of the president talking to, so you can't really tell which one was the bigger precipitating event, but got down to 192.10 today. It's in the 196s now, but down on huge volume. It looks like 182, 184 is the support area, maybe as high as 185. Back to the November 23rd, 2016 lows. You've had some fairly decent moves lower. Could have been more volume from this 256 July 25 high, but pretty good indication that this thing had hit its high. It tested the February 15th, 2017 high, 248.84 with 7 million shares, with 2.3 million shares, closed back in after a couple of days, and then that was pretty much it. So don't know if there's anything more to say about that. Hang on a second here. Let me get this taken care of. So I can go through. Wanted to start going through the earnings for tomorrow. Let me see out here. Okay. Where's it at? There it is. Okay, so tomorrow morning, we start off with Goldman Sachs. Let's take a quick look at that one. This has kind of come up. Energy was better than the last leg down. It's gone higher. Now we're just kind of going sideways in this. You had a little doji out here on Friday with 2.5 million shares. Today, already have 2.5 million shares. So on the downside, unless something really came out, you're looking at maybe 232 on the downside and 247 on the upside. So I don't see anything in here that would say either options or the equity would be any kind of thing that you'd want to hop on. Of course, last week we saw many of these investment banks not get very much love after actually beating the market somewhat. But the whisper numbers are pretty sky high on these stocks, especially since they've had these huge runs. In the case of this one from the September 7th low already, these things have done nothing but go higher, and nothing's really done anything better. Of course, we've got Morgan Stanley also tomorrow morning. This one a little bit better in the fact that you've got a decent signal. It did break with the same volume on this October 6th high, did go above the August 8th high with similar volume. This one's a little tougher to see. It's happening. You're basically right back underneath that August 8th high. But, you know, the energy, was it horrible? Wasn't horrible. But you certainly don't have a very clear indication. That's why I kind of put most stuff away. There just wasn't a lot out here to say, hey, I've got to, you know, this one I've got an abiding belief in what's going to happen. Let's take another look at one, J&J. That one actually, if it comes up fairly quickly here, did break above the previous highs just a few days ago. He had 8.2 million shares on the 11th when it broke above a lot of the previous highs. Let's get this down to a little bit easier way to look at. You needed 6 million shares from the July 20th high, 136.24. You got it to 6 million shares on September 19th, so you got to figure you're going to get the retest. It gapped over that with 8.2 million shares on the 11th. Now it's done nothing but go sideways. So this is certainly one that if it does not get some fairly decent earnings out here, it could just gap right back down. That would take you to about 133. And on the upside, kind of tough to actually say what that would be. But it seems to me like they've had just about everything already coming in on this one. Harley Davidson, also in the morning. This one seems to be weaker. Gas prices a little higher. People migrating to Japanese motorcycles a little bit more. And just there's a huge amount of Harleys out there used with very little use on them. And that continues to be kind of the biggest holdover. Now, Harley Davidson does not make money per se on selling bicycles, or not bicycles, on motorcycles. So let's get that out of the way. Where do they make money? T-shirts, saddlebags, accessories, all kinds of what they call the Harley Davidson lifestyle business. But energy off this $50.28 high of September 27th has been a little bit more than the energy up off the September 5th low. So you are coming down. Energy's picked up. You had one big down day here on the 5th of October that looked pretty much like that. You're kind of coming back up. A doji today, if we close here. So again, one of these things where it just does not look like there's a lot to jump up and down about going into earnings out here. Now the downside is that if this one goes higher, my guess is $47.50 to $48 on a surprise earnings, unless it's just spectacular, which I don't think we're going to see. The downside is if this thing does whiff, it's going to blow through this previous low of September 5th. You know, you've got, this thing did go up on July 18th on a huge day, but this never really caught on, got up about in that $5 trading range. You come back with some energy, not as much as you came up on that reversal day back on July 18th. But my guess is this was a lot of distribution going on since there. Watch out. If this one is whiffs, this is the one that could probably be the big loser for tomorrow morning. CSX, everybody's got to get on board. Okay. And getting on the CSX train, You got to think these guys are probably going to also have some problems. There was a lot of shipping that didn't go up the Mississippi. They take a lot of stuff off. They did deliver a lot of stuff. Again, probably not as bad as hog, but my guess is on the downside on this one. On a miss, it's about a $51 stock. To the highs, maybe 54 bucks. So risk reward pretty horrible on almost all of these. They just don't show that much range to the upside to be long and don't really give you a signal to pull the trigger here short. See if there's anything else. I think that's about it. So we're going to go in and start looking at some of these other companies when we come back. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And, you know, it's a lot of times in trading, you connect the dots backwards. If you've never heard that speech by Steve Jobs, you should be able to look it up on YouTube. I think it's well worth watching. But basically, he says everybody's, you know, this is a speech, I think, in 2005, and everybody was talking about how we couldn't connect the dots and for 9/11. And he says, you know what? You never can connect the dots forward. You always have to connect the dots backwards. That many things that happened in his life ended up coloring what the Macintosh was and what he did with the rest of his life. And he says there's no way that, that as it was going on, he could have ever figured it out. But when the hurricane was coming, the thing to always do, and we talked about it before, is buy the generator company, probably the easiest pure play for a hurricane hitting. One of the things I learned today, and now I'll be able to connect the dots backwards, is what happens when you have a giant fire and you have huge damage to an electric company. I never really thought of this. In fact, I think I put when the fires had just broken out, I put it in the den. And by the next day, everybody was kind of talking about how big these fires were. You knew that they'd been under a drought for, 4 or 5 years. So there was going to be more than enough tinder to let this thing go. I didn't, never really lived in California. I spent a lot of time there, never lived there. So I wasn't familiar with the electric companies and everything else. But a lot of damage for PG&E Corporation, their electric company. But this is what can happen to a company, especially for a company that you hope goes up 10 cents in a day. To see it lose $20 in 3 days is certainly something to behold, especially if you're stuck in the stock and you didn't bail early on. Of course, if I would have been in this stock, I probably would have seen how things happened before. But it always reminds me of Jay Livermore's book where he talks about, I think it was the big earthquake of 1907 in San Francisco. In that event, nothing happened for about 3 days, but he got short during those 3 days because he knew what happened, i.e. the railroads would be closed, a bunch of other things would kind of happen. You never know until after it's happened the first time, but I heard a good saying today, and there's no learning in the second, what was it, second stomp of a mule, second kick. Oh, you don't learn anything by the second kick in the head by a mule. And if you don't, I guess there is a problem. But I'll put this down and write my notes down here. The next time we have some kind of giant wildfire that turns everything up, probably a pretty low risk trade if you were going to be short this thing. And in the future, kind of a good eye. Yeah, you don't, again, yeah, but you learn, right? I remember learning in the 2004 or 5, Hurricane Mitch. I think it's 2004. Is that Mitch? That's 1998. I'll never remember all of them. But that's the first time we saw the generator stocks take off like a rocket. So certainly this is something to write down, learn, and the next time we have a big natural disaster that would wipe out one of these, electric company probably not going up more than $1 if nothing happened. But man, seeing something like this where you do get $20, I bet you could have bought, or I could have bought, I'll go back and look at it. I bet you probably could have bought puts on this for like 50 cents for the 65s. Probably one of the big, if anybody had them, probably one of the biggest payoffs in a long time. Hurricane Floyd. All I can think of is that goofy barber in Mayberry, Floyd. And of course, for years, there was a rock and roll station that pushed, Mayberry RFD, that used to have giant posters of Floyd, the guy, the barber on Mayberry, and he was pink. And it was, of course, it was an old, I don't know. If the 80s, you could have called it classic rock back then. But they were big on Pink Floyd. So they had a pink Floyd from Mayberry RFD, and they were all over town at the time for Pink Floyd. Anyway, huge volume out there. Just something to think about. Something I thought about. Dollar Tree, we went through that one. I wanted to see if there was anything else going on. Let me go back. Again, going to be kind of a quiet day as we look at it, up 2.5 points on the S&P. Dow's, everybody's kind of rushing into that right now, up 60 points, but not a lot else happening on that one. Okay. Someone wants me to look at the IYT. Knew it had a kind of ugly candle on Friday, engulfed basically the 3 days before. You gap down today. Now you would hope that you get some decent volume in this. Day is not over yet. 70, let's call it 78,000 shares. That's compared to the 109 on 109,000 shares on the 9th. 249,000 shares back on the 6th. So you are down here. You got a little, not the most beautiful hammer candle in the world, but got a little bit out here. Again, I'm not looking for a lot of movement in any of these indexes through this week. I suspect that no matter what happens, all that we'll see is sector rotation through the majority of this week. We would have to have something horrific, and I just don't see that something horrific already in the stocks. Certainly could get a news item that would change my opinion, but right now I don't see anything. If you can't get threatened daily by the by Rocket Man up there in the North Korea about being nuked every day, what's going to scare somebody? I think we're down to earnings. So maybe you get something earnings, but man, is it going to have to be the biggest earnings surprise of our life? And since they changed the laws about what you can and cannot disclose, that you can go to prison for, and I think the big change actually happened when they made the executive branch sign every earnings statement. And part of that earnings statement is saying that you will not talk to anybody during the quiet period. You can't really tell. Say anything else. So what else do we have? Take a look at a few other things. Did we look? We looked at Dollar Tree already. Let's look at Casey's stores. Same kind of thing. Well, a little different. They have gas stations. We'll look at this one when we come back. This one's mid in this gap. So we'll take a look at this one. Pretty light volume today. We'll be back in a second.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Okay, I finally found it. That doesn't say who actually said it, but there is no education in the second kick of a mule. That was what I heard today. I thought that was interesting nonetheless. Okay, what else do we have? We're going to take a look, check in on the indexes. Up 2.8 points on the S&P cash, a market that's in fuego. Not really. Again, just all waiting for Netflix tonight. Probably have a little bit of action in the futures in the morning with earnings. And then, of course, we hurry up and wait for the next round of earnings. So my guess is we're going to have tonight, of course, after the bell, you're not going to have much. Probably have a little bit of gap one way or the other tomorrow morning. But again, my guess is that the thing, until we get probably into Thursday, my guess is we're not going to be any kind of consensus on how the way earnings going. No matter what anybody does, if it's a loser, they'll sell it and go buy something else. Probably go right back to buying the SMHs or something like that. It's going to be kind of tough. But we were talking about Casey's store before we left. Down on the 6th of June, came down with 2.7 million shares. I got into it on Thursday with 400,000 shares, Friday with 460,000 shares. Today you got 166,000 shares. This is kind of the pattern I look for out here to short, and certainly you got no volume out here today. Let's see if I have. Let's see, with earnings are coming up on Casey's store. Okay. CASY, right? CASY. Okay. And December 5th. So is that it? When was the last one? Anyway, it says December 5th. So you got a little while on this one. That one will interest me. I'll have to check it out a little bit farther, but certainly interesting. What else? Okay, IBM Roundup. Got the pattern. I got an email asking me what do I think about the elections over the weekend in Austria. More of the same. Basically, everybody in the EU thought that they could, if they could just get to the top of the EU and Brussels, they could tell everybody what to do, whether they liked it or not. And most people didn't like it, basically they just went around screwing over different countries and people ad nauseum and telling them to eat it if they didn't like it. Well, I think the French Revolution, what was that, 1791, 1793, something like that, would be a history lesson for these folks. But if you're a blowhard and think that you know what every human ought to be doing, and not only that, because a lot of people believe that, but you're going to impose your will on the rest of those folks, that it's no different. But I probably didn't explain it. Austria had the youngest world leader, I think, elected in 50, 100 years. I forgot what the issue is. But again, basically, if you hate Brussels and the I can't even say it, I won't even try to say it today. If you're masters in Brussels and you hate what they're doing, you're pretty much going to vote for this guy, because he's basically the Brexit guy for Austria. And I think you might see that Austria might get back into that German camp here fairly quickly if they continue to kind of lean a little bit more to the right. See if there's anything else out here. I wanted to look at a few. Let's take a look at Microsoft MSFT. A lot of good news just keeps rolling out, so it's kind of hard to see this thing ever down in the last few weeks. I thought basically it kind of front run everything it did. Little gap up, didn't have any volume on Friday, the 13th. You had 15 million shares that day. Today you got about 8 million shares. So you did gap up. You didn't have any kind of juice. This kind of seems to me like these things are kind of hanging up here. You're probably going to look for some pullbacks in a few of these. Facebook did very well for a pretty rotten week. And I guess Mark Zuckerberg's probably jumping for joy that that a movie producer out in Hollywood's now getting all the love that he was getting early on in the week. But you know, even with that, today we got 8 million shares going into the 68.9 million share high. So that kind of tells you a lot. Earnings on Facebook are on November 1st. So we've got 14, 15 days. They have the big dog and pony in front of the Congress on the 2nd. So there's going to be a lot of news moving this thing around. My guess is that he probably will keep some of the expenses out of this earnings report to make everything look good for the investors when he gets ready to get pounded, although I hear he will not be there. They will pound, I think, on the Facebook people for a while in Congress because they're easy whipping boys at the moment. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And any change in my outlook for long-term outlook for Intel? And the answer is no out there. Short-term, yes. Short-term, you've got to really keep an eye on this one. You know, if you're trading and if you're holding it, I don't see a lot. Let's go back here and change this to 3x3. All you need is one close under the 3x3, which is just pennies underneath this thing, and you would probably come back to about 36.28 is the way I'm looking at it. Let's go back here a little bit farther. It may be a little bit more like 36.75, which is around where the support level is. You might get 37.50 or something. But this thing has had its run. It's complete. It's closed every day since the 29th of August above the 3x3. So you've had the kind of run that the SMHs have had, and this is a huge corporation, of course. So there's lots of shares out here. You got a little dodgy today. Again, what you would probably want to watch out for is any close back below. I'm not predicting one. Don't think probably during this week you can get one. It may be hard unless we have a big surprise, but pretty good run here. And you do get a decent close with any kind of signal below that 3x3 in the next couple of days. I'd just go ahead and pull the trigger and try to buy the pullback on Intel. We'll be back in just a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets, right here on TFNN. Wow!
And we're back again. Not a lot happening. Don't expect a lot before the end of the day. Maybe a point or two higher on the S&P. As usual, as the end of the day comes in, volume's 1.9 billion shares, a little over that. So we're not even to 2 billion shares. So it's going to be a light volume today. Of course, Netflix after the bell tonight. Probably get a little bit of movement in the NASDAQ on that one. But the big move, I suspect, is going to be with all these biggies we went through at the in the top half of the hour in this show. So going to be kind of a light day. Not going to make a lot about it. Tomorrow, I think we've got a lot more to learn. And that a lot to learn is going to be how these earnings come in, especially from Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Again, these guys can move earnings around. So I kind of really dislike playing earnings. 15 years ago, someone always knew something. It's not the same now. There's a lot of times when apparently no one knows anything. It's much more a Schultz kind of market. You still can get leaks, and you can see big guys that in the markets, mavens of the street, move markets before earnings. But it's probably the exception and less the rule. Before, it was always pretty much the rule. Apparently, everybody knew everything on the street back in the early 2000s. Of course, a lot of rules coming in, sending these guys to jail if they speak. And that kind of changed a lot of that, although you still see a little bit. But, look at an Apple, it's up to 70 or something. This seems like nothing's really changed. Don't know why Apple's a little higher. Everybody just thinking that it should be. But still looks like Apple could have some weakness. We'll see how this one does this week. My guess is the move in Apple will be next week. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.